welcome to another edition of WCTV Gaming Presents. I'm Christian Fernandez, one of your hosts, and my other host is
John Day. How's it going?
And we are back with some more Roll20 Dungeons and Dragons gaming. What was this edition? Fifth
edition. Yep.
5th edition. If you missed last 2 weeks, you should go back and watch them because we finished the adventure, the first part of the adventure, and it was really a lot of fun. And we're all 3rd level now. I think second level. Thank you. That was Dungeon Master Tim correcting me. Oh gee, I forgot everyone's name.
That's
I've
all
been
right.
on vacation for like a week.
I'll take it over from here. Thanks, Christian. So we've got as Gullick, we have Dylan. Guys, say hi, Dylan.
Now his
Dylan's
mic
mic's
is
doing
quiet.
it, or he's eating, or his mic went quiet again. We were just fixing this too.
Pardon, am I good now?
No, you're good.
Hello? Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
As Talus, we have Pat.
Hey.
We got John playing Lucian,
How's it going?
and as Grim, we have Christian. So we have a smorgasbord of different player races, not a single human amongst them, because we don't want normies here, freaks only. And I feel more like a ringmaster than a dungeon master. So here we go. Last time you were just killing Clark and his wolf. You were betrayed by the goblin Yimik, who had said that he wanted to take over the cavern using your assistance and to kill Clark and become the new ruler of this band of goblinoids. You saved the human Sildar, who is the warrior that had gone with Gundren to escort him back to Fendelven. Now that you've freed him, you've gotten back some of his equipment, not all of it. His chainmail and sword is still missing. But other than that, he seems to be in good spirits. You guys have taken a little bit of damage, so I'd recommend taking a short or long rest at this time. There are currently no other baddies in this area, so you can easily just sit around this fire, take a long rest, and then set off again on the trail to Fendelven in the morning. How's that sound?
I personally recommend that. It'd be our best bet.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I will, Gullick will take out his 2-person tent, and he will pitch it.
In the cave?
Might as well.
In the game, yeah.
Yeah, might as well. It's drafty in here.
Yeah, in the cave. And he's gonna pitch it, and he's gonna crawl in, he's gonna say somebody else can join him if he wants to, and then he's gonna go in, and he's gonna crawl into his shell. Until he's in his shell.
Shelter.
Yep.
Christian, on your character, your avatar Grim, make sure you update your hit points, because you're still got 8.
Oh, yeah. Should be 12, right? Half a D8.
Well, it's
the
half
average-
plus 1, plus your
the-
con mod.
I believe
don't
we
have a
were
con
saying
mod.
we were going with the average, right?
That's right, so,
And the average of a D8 is 5.
yeah.
Oh. So 13. I don't have a con mod.
Okay, so so like you said, you'll be going up to the 13.
Why did it change?
Did you set the max or?
I'll set it for you. Here you go. So the rest of you can restore your characters to full, because that's what you get with a full night's rest. Now, also within the cavern that you're currently residing is a bunch of goods that belong to a trading company in Fendelven. Those are goods that you can be sure that the proprietor of that business will be very happy to have. You do have a bit of an obstacle of getting him back there, though. You do have the cart that you did arrive with, so you'll have to load all these goods on there and wheel them out. Now, this is in addition to the goods that you were bringing to Gundren, to Fendelven as well.
How full
it's gonna
is
make-
the cart that we currently have without all this stuff?
It's not past the capacity that can carry. It just makes you a little bit more vulnerable to bumps on the road, things knocking off, or any any other creatures that happen to be like on the side of the road watching for caravans coming through, it does make you a little bit more of an attractive target.
Gotcha.
So do you want to put in the effort to grab this stuff, hoping for a reward if you do deliver them, or do you want to leave them here?
I mean,
No, I thought we decided we were going to take it last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
agreed
did.
That bringing it in would be our best bet.
Okay. So you spend the morning loading up all these goods, getting them onto the cart, to the distress of the 2 draft horses that you have tied to it, who are none too happy to be suddenly having double the weight that they're going to have to pull. And you set off at about midday down the road to Fendelver. Now you still have to go down the trail that the goblins had back to the main road itself, or you could try to cross the country itself and try to link up with the road further down. So I'm going to move the players over to the Sword Coast map. First, actually, I'm going to I'm going to copy all of you guys so I can keep all your stats. Done. Oh, you know what? I actually have a icon that represents you guys that Pat made. See if I actually remembered to include it in the in my assets, because I might not have. Yep, there it is. All right.
Just before we get to that, it says my modifier for Constitution is 1.
Okay, so you're going to have
So
14. Yeah. It also means actually 15 because your modifier would have increased for your base hit points as well when you started level 1.
Yep.
So you have a 25. Oh, yeah, we gotta change your maximum.
Yeah, what you're doing is you're changing your current hit points, not your maximum hit points. The other side is the maximum. There you go.
I adjusted it. Yeah. All right, so you currently have from your present location 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 miles to Fendelven that you're gonna have to cross country or go back to the high road before you take the trail into Fendelven itself. Which one do you guys want to go with? Do you want to go cross country? Risk the rougher terrain, or do you want to go along the road?
I was gonna say we're kind of loaded. We're kind of loaded up with gear. We don't want the cart to break halfway in the middle of crossing country.
Sure.
Like, is it just like flat terrain? Is it hilly? Like,
it's mostly flat, but the wagon that you currently have is the all-terrain vehicle of its era.
Okay.
It can easily traverse this kind of terrain.
Any votes on either or?
Let's go the fast way. Let's spice it up.
Well, that'll also take a check. So if I can get somebody take a survival.
I will do that. I believe I have the highest. I have had the highest survival, I believe.
So it's gonna be DC 10. So Golik easily manages the trail ahead and is able to get you en route onto the less used trail to Fendelven, and also making up a significant amount of time that you would have lost having to backtrack towards the high road and then navigate it all the way down before you headed east. So he cut off at least 15 miles from your journey.
Thank you, Golik.
Yeah, you know those turtles being really good at forest navigation?
It's a trait we never knew they had. I mean, if a turtle can find its way back to the place it was born after swimming through the ocean for tens of thousands of miles, I mean, why not?
You know, you got a point.
All right. From this position here, you do happen to see in the distance a few vultures circling in the sky. It's a bit off the trail. It could represent a dead body, an animal, or it just could be vultures picking up on a thermal vent. Does anybody want to scout over and investigate it, or would you rather just be like, this isn't our problem, and continue on?
Can you repeat that?
There's vultures circling above. It's a little bit off the trail. And vulture circling usually represents some kind of corpse.
Correct.
That's off the trail a bit. It might be worth investigating, especially since you're in an area that is rife with goblins, and also the possibility of bandits. So you might want to check out to see what the activity is. Or it could just be a bunch of vultures picking up a heat draft and just moving higher in the column.
I think we should check it out because we knew that the other party person, whatever, was taken off by the other goblins.
Gundren.
Yeah, Gundren was taken off by the other goblins, and he wasn't there.
It's true.
So it might be remnants from that, or
yeah. But if he's dead, then it doesn't really matter. I mean,
well,
we have
if he still has the coin on him, then it might.
It's fair.
Sure. Get that money.
We just like come back later. I mean, we have a cart full of both goods that we had already brought, and then the goods of the townspeople that we're about to go to. We kind of have a lot of stuff.
It would just be a couple, like a stealth check to go up there to approach unnoticed, or a quick perception check to get up there. Just,
Mr. Rogue can go scout if he wants to.
I will.
So, did you want to approach it with stealth?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and make your stealth check as you approach the area with vulture. Again, this is not that far off the road. It's just past a tree line. You're maybe within 300 yards of the road itself.
Yeah, it's not letting me see my character sheet again. Can you see my character?
Your character sheet?
Yeah, it's not bringing it up. Click on Grim, and oh, there it is.
Sheet? Yeah, I can see it.
It just came up. All right.
You got a +5 to your stealth. You just wanted to roll a d20 and add the 5.
Not a d20 +5, just add the 5 after.
Sure. If you're having struggles, if you're struggling.
Well, no, I was trying to remember what the.
Well, if to make it easier, when you pull up your character sheet, you can just click on whichever one it is, whichever one you want.
Yeah, but it was having trouble bringing up the sheet itself. It was coming up. That's what he was talking. All right, but I figured it out.
All right.
16.
So with the 16, you easily approach the area undetected, not even disturbing the murder of crows that are feasting on what appears to be a pile of 3 corpses. Arrows feather the bodies. You could, from where you are, masked, you can see no further evidence.
Just arrows.
You see arrows, you can see corpses, and you see crows.
Are the arrows in any kind of condition? Like they been in there like a while, or is it?
You'd have to break your cover and approach and investigate the scene. From where you are right now, you're sheltered and nothing can see you. That area is vulnerable and open.
I go back.
Okay.
Do I need to make another check?
No, you're fine. So what do you relay to the party?
So there are about 3 bodies. Well, when I was there, I could tell what kind of.
Hold on a second. We sent the Kanku to go tell us things.
We did. Yeah, we didn't.
So he just.
I can mimic. No, I can mimic words.
Yeah.
As long as I've heard it.
So. Not to mention, you also know thieves can't, so he knows how to speak with his hands.
Yeah.
Well, it's the other side of it as well. He just,
thieves can't.
Like it's just funny. Yeah, nobody else knows thieves can't. But
I
could literally just quote like a murder mystery.
I mimic Lucian, so I speak in his voice, but I say I saw 3 bodies littered with both arrows.
I'm never gonna get used to that.
And I laugh.
Is it worth us running over to see if it's one of our employers?
There were 3 brothers of the Rock. I believe it was the Rockseeker brothers.
Oh, right, the ones that were searching for the thing.
Tell you what, I'll go ahead and go check on them if you guys want to press on.
Nah, I'll go with you.
I'll stay with
right out in the open.
I'm gonna stay with the cart.
So Gullet continues to drive the team. Sildar volunteers to go along as well, maybe because he'd be able to recognize them if they were the other brothers. He actually has met them. And and I imagine Grim stays with Gullet and Reginald.
Sure.
Yeah, I want to keep Reginald at the cart.
Yeah, it's only a few hundred yards, so it's a quick jog to the scene itself. Do you approach with stealth?
I do.
I'm going to actually proceed out in the open.
Okay. So, from your vantage point, Lucian, you don't see anything that's moving amongst the shadows or on the other tree line just across from the field from you. Nothing that lunges out or attacks or preparing itself. The birds scatter before Talus as he approaches the corpses. You see that each of the... now that you're closer, you see they're not arrows, they're bolts. They each have... They're feathered with what seems to be like a red cock's feather.
All right.
Neatly made. The timbers themselves are birch wood, straight grained, and they're heavy. They're not the kind of crossbow like a hunter would have. These are military.
And these aren't anything we find with goblins either.
Goblins, if they looted them, sure, but definitely not crafted by goblins.
Yeah.
The craftsmanship is just too clean, too neat.
Could I attempt a history check to identify if there is any mercenary bands that are known for utilizing redcock's feathers?
Yeah, easily.
Okay. 11.
You know that there's a group that operates in the area called the Red Brands. This is their typical coloration. They usually use red capes, red cock feathers on the arrows and the coral shafts. Very showy, but they're not very good. The band has been formed, destroyed, and reformed several times.
All right.
Okay.
Does our good friend recognize the bodies?
Oh, so do you want to take an investigation?
Yeah. Sure. We can go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Do you want to, or would you like me to?
I've got a +2 to my investigation, so...
I have 3, but either way. Go ahead. You can do it.
Okay.
I'll stand guard.
Yeah. Well, that didn't go well.
It's so dirty.
Yeah, nothing of note comes out to you, other than the obvious things. Each of the men is wearing sackcloth, which is rough spun home woolens. None of them carry any kind of valuables or possessions that would make them a deliberate target of banditry. They just seem to be a few men who were possibly hunting, maybe collecting mushrooms or forest or any other like bounties of the forest, and they were just slaughtered.
Okay. I'd like to take one of the bolts.
Reason to it. Okay. It comes free with difficulty, and you see easily why as you rip it from the bloated flesh is that the end of the coral is barbed.
Interesting. Yeah, I want to stow the bolt for later.
All right. And that concludes that scene. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna ask if I may attempt an investigation.
Try to avoid doing multiple rolls on the same thing. So
Understood.
Keep the narrative moving.
If possible, I'd like to drag the bodies back to town with me.
They're bloated. They've already gone to putrefaction.
Okay.
Grasping one of the limbs, they're already begun to fall apart, and predation has already begun to ruin them.
If they have any kind of markings on them, like anything on their clothing, I'd like to take some back with me.
Only the coloration of their hair, their general size, their facial features are long since obscured by bloat, and also predation.
I'll take a lock from each to be able to turn into an abbey if they have one down in Findolfin.
So you're able to get back to the cart with ease. It's only trundled ahead a few hundred more yards, and continue on your route to Fendalen. Fendalen you reach before nightfall. You easily see the chimney stacks and smoke rolling away from it. the felled timbers of like a gnarled low shrub forest that had encroached upon the ruins of a previous settlement that has been pushed back, where this new settlement has been built upon the old stones of what looks like it might have been a fairly fortified town at one point. You can see the earthworks on the outside edges, along with a crumbling stone of a large manor that's positioned on a plateau to the east of the town. So I'm going to transfer you guys over to that map. Vendalen. So I apologize about the seam down the middle of this page. I wasn't able to get a full imaged map. I had to kind of work with that.
All right, that's fine.
Didn't take the time to edit it out. Hours of time of stitching together small colors and pixels.
I'm trying to play a game of what did Tim leave out of the DM scene.
Yeah. All right, so you're coming down the Tribor Trail from the north. And you can see the different hills that surround the town that speak of like the older fortifications that would have been around it. You can even see some of the remnants of the old stone wall.
Well, we'd want to find the provisioner's place to make sale of our items.
Well,
yeah,
or return them, not just sell them back their stolen goods.
It's a way of making money. It's not really fair, but it is a way.
It's at the entrance to the town, so.
But we also have a mix of supplies currently. We have the stolen goods, and then we have the ones that we were tasked to actually be delivering.
All right, so that would be the place you'd want to go. And Sildar indicates it is Barthen's Provisions, which is at the north of the town. Yeah, Tal's just pinged it.
Yeah.
Is that the same place that we're taking our stuff to?
Yes, that's where Sildar indicates. That's where it's not where the other provisions that you got from the caves come from. That comes from the Lion Shield Coster,
which is slightly in town more.
Yep. And they have the emblem of the Lion Shield on them.
Yeah, okay. That's how we were able to figure it out.
Well, let's start, since it's right there, start at the provision place with our original stuff first.
Okay. Then we just gotta ask to borrow the cart to get the rest of it to Lion Shield Coster.
Yeah.
Alright. So you go to Barthen's Provisions, you stop off. Yeah, it's a bloody sword stabbed through the building. Realize the small irony of that too. You guys do have your characters down at the bottom too. If you do split up and go to different directions, which is easy to do because we'll just take kind of each role play encounter in stride. All right, so let's see, Barthen. So Barthen comes out to greet you, giving you each 10 gold for bringing the possessions and the wagon and supplies to him. Barthen himself is a dwarf, heavy set. Even for dwarves, he's fat around the waist. He has a very wide belt, a large curly golden beard, and an easy smile. With rough hands, he shakes each of your hands and pumps your arms profusely as he's looking over the goods. And while noticing Sildar, he wants to know, where's Gundren?
We have no idea.
So Sildar informed. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna state we believe he may be in the possession of a spider, I believe they called him.
Barthen's saddened about this, though he doesn't know anything about any spider. But if you're willing to find out more about it, he would gladly pay you if you could seek out more information that happened to Gundren. Gundren was an important business partner in an endeavor that he and his brothers were undertaking, and to have him back would not just be profitable, but be just a generally good thing. He tells Sildar that a friend of his is waiting for him in town, and he should probably go off to go see him. But other than that, he offers you directions over to the Stonehill Inn if you're looking for a bed to sleep for the night. And he also notices that you have the goods for the Lion Shield Coster, and he says you should probably you can borrow the wagon to deliver those goods over to her. She'd be glad. She'll probably pay for them and be thrilled to actually have them.
That works for us. We were going to ask for it anyways, so.
We'll be sure to return your cart shortly after.
All right. He does warn you that before you head out, there's a group of men who have come to the town recently, rough sort. Walk around with red cloaks, call themselves the Red Brands. Like, try not to cause any trouble with them. The town master hasn't really been up to doing anything about them, and he seems to have intimidated anybody who has like the physical ability to stop them. I mean, they don't really cause any trouble.
Well,
other than the normal drunkenness and a few unfortunate events here and there. But
has anybody from the town gone missing at some point?
His eyes hit the dirt, and he looks a little ashamed of himself. He's like, I wouldn't necessarily say missing, but we've had a couple incidences.
I hold out the 3 separate locks of hair. Did their hairs match these?
He shakes his head. No.
There were 3 gentlemen we'd found dead in the field.
I'll pull out the
had long since started taking them.
And he says there's plenty of miners. You might ask down at the. Yeah, I mean you can ask over at Sister Gariel's home, or you can head over to the Fendelin Miners Exchange. They might actually have more information. Most of the strays that come in and out of town go to the mining exchange. A lot of prospectors up in the hills, people down on their luck, always looking for some kind of lumping work, and it's just carrying rock up from some old abandoned mine up to the surface. So it could have been anybody like that.
I understand.
I'm gonna ask Barthen, how many of the Red Brand are around?
And it's like, well, most of them keep to the Sleeping Giant Tap House, which he easily points to as just to the back of his own establishment, just past his own house. He's like, they mostly keep over there, drunk most times, lounging about the place. You never see more than 6 or 7 of them walking around town at a time. The rest of them are up at the old ruin of the Tresendar Manor, which is up on a little peninsula. It's like they've kind of occupied the place, claimed it as their own.
Any idea how many of them there are?
A few dozen. They largely keep to themselves. I mean, they cause trouble like young men with weapons do. But other than 1 or 2 unfortunate incidents, they haven't really caused any other issues.
Well, we'll see what happens. If they come, if they try to start a fight with us, then we'll see where the cookie crumbles. How the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, he wishes you well with that. I mean, they're good fighters. You won't deny them that. If just a little too brash for their own good. But yeah, be on your way over to the Lion Shield. She'll be ecstatic to see you.
Well, I offer my thanks again, and I'll pull up my sackcloth hood to cover my skin a little bit more.
All right.
Yeah,
he actually made no mention of you and your coloration. And quickly, as you're walking through the town, you notice that there is a smorgasbord of different kinds of races represented here. You can guess mostly because of the Miners Exchange. It's going to attract all different kinds, just people trying to make their fortune. And so having, even though you are part drow, it's not really exciting people like you normally would get inside some of the places further along the coastline.
I'll walk up to Talos, pat him on the shoulder. I think you're good here.
Sorry, force of habit, unfortunately. I'll pull down my...
I understand. I kind of like brush my horns. Sometimes you get eyes.
A little bit. I figure the least problems we can draw to ourselves, the better.
Oh, he shouts as you're heading down the road. He's like, "Oh, the woman that owns it, her name's Linny.
Linny,
make sure you told her I sent her along and didn't steal any of her goods."
I'll raise my hand and wave to him in affirmation.
I just realized this entire time I had the Goblin Cave music on. There we go. Now we have medieval town music. I gotta remember I have an audio playlist. I'm deaf. Other people aren't. Okay.
All right. So we'll head
So
down
over
to
at the Lion Shield, the Lion Shield Coster is a post, like a general's post. And it is owned by the Lion Shield. It's a merchant company based in the city of Yartar. It's over 100 miles in the east. So they're principally responsible for shipping goods to Findal and other small settlements throughout the region. You can kind of tell, though, that this particular one is not as prosperous as you would expect an exchange post to be. The paint is peeling, the walls are sun-bleached and over-dried, the steps themselves are worn and cracked. There's a human woman, middle-aged, out front, like, angrily repairing a shovel. Like, just very stern-looking. Her face is covered with dirt. Her hands are heavily calloused. And she looks up at the rumbling cart by, and her eyes just light up when she sees that lion shield on the side of the cart. She's like, "My goods! My God, I've been waiting for this delivery for a month!" She just seems completely oblivious to the fact that you guys are delivering them to her. And she's yelling for people inside the building, like, "Betty, Phil, get your lazy butts out here now. I'll start off loading this cart." And she finally starts to realize, like, "Oh, these are people here." She finally takes you both in. She's like, "Oh, wait, you're not lioners. You're not the supplyman I sent for."
No, not in the slightest.
Unfortunately, your suppliers most likely may have met their end. A small goblin raiding caravan we discovered.
She swears profusely, stamping her foot on the ground, about how she had warned them to bring more guards. Before turning over and taking a deep breath in, standing there and just like, "For your troubles, hold on, I have some money in a coffer for emergencies like this. Just give me a second." And she arrives shortly thereafter with a bag filled with 50 gold to divide amongst yourselves that she hands over. It's like, "I hope this is enough for the recovered goods that you managed to get." As the men in the back are taking crates out and levering them open and investigating the what's in there off of a list that they've maintained.
Yeah, this is plenty fine. Just forewarned, the cart's not yours or ours. We have to bring it back. So.
It's just like, I recognize the horses.
Yes, Barthen did wish us to bid you well and inform you that he did not steal any of your material.
That fat dwarf, I'd expect him to eat it.
I'll take my 12.5, I believe is what it comes out to, split 4 ways. I'd like to actually hand it back to her.
She waves it up. "If you want to hand any money back to me, you can do it by purchasing some things. I sell weapons, armor, adventuring goods, rope, good solid rope, climbing hooks, pythons, that kind of stuff."
Well, I would feel bad to take this since you have recently lost some of your people.
She's like, she appreciates it, but you giving away charity isn't going to bring them back. However, you buying a good blade to stab into a bandit's stomach, that might go a ways to honoring their memory.
I like this lady.
Then I shall take that as fate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It seems she has very few scruples. She is a merchant through and through. And she's she invites you inside. She has some hot drinks brought out if you're inclined to them. And with a little bit of food that's rustled up. Salted pork, hardtack, and some starch. Basic, like, grunt food. And she has that served out to you in tin plates.
I graciously accept. Thank you very much.
And she shrugs. It's hearty. It's not good food, but it'll get the job done. She's like, she's willing to offer you a discount on anything that you might need. Like it's good to actually get some honest folk through these, not like those damn. And she eyeballs a couple of young men swaggering past, wearing the red cloaks of Red Brands. Not like those bastards over there.
Yeah, on our way in, we came across some of their unfortunate run-ins. Pull out the bolt that I pulled off the body.
Yeah, we found a what I would assume to be a waylaid party of 3 men. I don't know if do any of these hair colors and anybody missing seem familiar to you, ma'am?
She makes a face and she turns her nose up at the hairs. We take them. It's like, I could smell them from here. Miners.
Well, unfortunately, they were apparently left as spectacles for the crows.
It's like it's the sulfur. So they get it from one of the mines nearby. It gets caught in every pore of their skin.
It is quite the telltale sign.
She's investigating the quarrel itself. She's just shaking her head. She's like, it's good craftsmanship, but not made for punching through armor. This is just to torture people. And she investigates the barb. There's no need for weapons like this. It's a waste of metal.
I heartily agree.
She passes it back to you. Now, on the other hand, I sell much better arrows than this garbage. And she has a few of them lining along the walls. And she's like, I'll offer it at a discount for what you've already done for me. And if a few of them end up in a couple of Red Brands, maybe I can get a better discount.
Again, I like this lady.
She's like, other than that, she's got nothing else for you. But if you need any help around the area, again, she can offer great prices on adventuring gear. She's more than willing to help you. She talked to the proprietor of the Stonehill. You can pick up at least the first night of sleep on her tab. Just tell them that you've brought in the delivery for the lion shields. And she'll send the bill over to her.
So, before we leave, do you have any nets for sale?
Yes, and she has nets. She also has those. She has weighted nets, barbed nets, and she has nothing for fishing. These are the kind of nets that you fish men with.
Fishing. I would like to purchase a net. I don't know what that would cost because I don't have the book open.
That's right. I can get the PHB open pretty easily.
Let's see. Standard like martial weapon net is 1 gold.
So that's going to be at discount. So you're only looking at 5 silver.
That's okay. Yeah, absolutely.
That's at 0.5.
Yep. So I will spend or remove 5 silver from my inventory. Oh, we got we split the gold even right?
That's 12.5 total.
Yeah, I didn't. So that 0.5 is that's what I spent on the net, and I'll go up to 50 gold. Okay. Okay, so I'll add a weighted net to my. Actually, I'm gonna buy 2.
Yeah, she has another one available just as easily. Yeah. Again, the Miners' Exchange keeps a steady flow of business coming through here. It's just these bandits have been a non-stop nuisance. They've hit multiple caravans, and she'd rather see good arms and armor go into the hands of people who will use them for good rather than some of these dummies that lose it out in the wilderness.
I heard that
then they just
apparently
the hands of goblins.
Apparently the Red Brands aren't doing much bad from what I'm hearing, but then also hearing from you that they're raiding caravans, stuff like that. What about the town official? Like, I heard he's not doing anything.
The town master? He's a coward. He sits up in his little hall, hides behind his desk, and more or less just gets bullied by the Red Brands. And she can't accuse them of I can't accuse them of doing any caravan raiding. I haven't seen any of my weapons on them since, but they're certainly getting those arms and weapons from somebody.
Yeah.
She's been having problems with goblins, mostly this Kragmar tribe that's or Kragma or Kraghand, whatever they're calling themselves.
Was that not the goblin crew that we just fought?
Yes, it was. You did. It was not the entire tribe, obviously, just a piece of it.
Right. We did manage to slay a small portion of them, hence your supplies.
Good. She swears is like she doesn't have any she doesn't believe all goblins are bad goblins, but she's not gonna mourn any goblins that go missing. It's generally for the better.
Makes sense.
I mean, if you want, she can she's pretty sure she can convince the masters down at of the Lion Shields to put together a pretty good bounty to take out goblins. I mean, if you're in that kind of field.
I wouldn't say no to some
we do
easy
have
coin.
a goblin slayer.
All right. So, did you guys? You're done at the Lion Shield? Did you want to head over to the Town Master's Hall, or did you want to go to the Stone Hill Inn, or anywhere else? The town is open to you.
If the others are willing to allow me, I might part ways for a small portion to go to Sister Garales. I would imagine that a title of sister would imply that she is of some form of faith.
I'm gonna go with him, but I'm gonna stop at the Shrine of Luck once we get there.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense.
So you want to take your characters and drop them to the locations.
I'll go over here.
The marker off. What about Grim and Lucian?
Figure we can go to Stonehill and secure our rooms.
Okay. Lucian to the Stonehill. What about Grim?
Before I left, by the way, I would like to have bought, or I'll have bought a bag of ball bearings.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, I'll denote that from my.
And it's also 50% off.
Okay, thank you.
Where's Grim going? Do we have Christian still?
I don't know.
Christian.
Well,
He's
still in the chat.
He's still in the chat, yeah.
The apnea might have got him.
Maybe. Christian.
We'll assume that Grim is heading over to the Stonehill Inn, and
Okay.
we'll just play Grim as we go.
All right.
Okay. All right, so heading over to the shrine. So let me pull that information up here in a second. So it is a small shrine made of stones taken from the nearby ruins. So it's just the square ones made using for the walls. Also probably some taken down from the manor itself. It's dedicated to Timora, the goddess of luck and good fortune. There is a... Hold on, let me take a look at her. There is a young elf woman who is attending the shrine. When she sees Gullick and Talus stride up towards it, she turns and bows to both of you before making a final absolution before the shrine, and approaches to ask if you would, if you have any business with the goddess of luck.
I offer my courtesies and explain that I am actually a cleric of Saloon on my first pilgrimage. I merely wished to offer my reverence to all of the Pantheon as necessary, and to ask if I might be able to request symbolic final rites for 3 miners that we found en route to the town.
Okay, so when Garily looks at you, she involuntarily flinches. She is a wood elf. She's definitely young.
I pull my hood back up to cover my shame, as it were.
She apologizes immediately. She's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Quite all right, ma'am. I fully understand my parentage.
She's like, no, please. We try to have an open society here, accepting of all people, especially before the goddess of good fortune. It would be wrong of me.
Your kind has no reason to not initially fear, my parentage. I fully understand.
She does look ashamed of her reaction. She turns to Gullik and she bows to him. She offers, what could the goddess Timora do for you today?
I will bow back in whatever weird hunched bow that a turtle can muster. And I will ask her, what constitutes a good offering to your goddess?
She says that's the most interesting thing about the Shrine of Luck and Good Fortune is that the only thing you have to offer is your praise. So the goddess comes to those who are prepared to take upon opportunities as they become available.
I chuckle and comment that is good teaching.
May I inspect the shrine?
She invites you to.
Okay, cool.
To come forth to the shrine itself and look upon it. It's it's a simple enough shrine, again, made of rubble, bits of any kind of material from the area. The actual statue of Timora itself is crudely fashioned but lovingly adorned. You can tell that the miners nearby leave constant offerings, nicks and little tiny knickknacks, candles, small coins, anything they can think of that's going to help them find fortune, strike it rich in the hills.
Is there anything's like bin or like bowl or bucket or something?
No, it seems keeping with the kind of like rough and frontier mentality. It's all just kind of laid scattered about the statue itself, and it's up to the priestess of Timora to collect up the offerings and put them in a coffer. It seems this is like her only source of income and her only source of food. She maintains the shrine and also maintains her tiny little homestead that's nearby.
Is this the statue? Is it just like carved by like the townspeople, or is it like?
It seems to have been carved by somebody of not a whole lot of skill, but again, done so lovingly, in a crude fashion of a elven goddess. It's
Is there any like? So you said it's like made of like kind of like rubble from just kind of places. Anything that looks like particularly old or like of any significance?
Unfortunately, no. Most of the stone itself just seems to have been claimed because of its general like squareness, and that it wasn't just a crumbled piece of garbage. To make a semicircle backer to the statue itself, just a place to shield it from the wind and any kind of weather. The cat just bolted past me.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, welcome back. We put you in the inn at Stonehill.
Yeah.
All right.
I was still stuck on the little break we had.
Okay.
Right. I am going to. I'm gonna offer the weapon and shield of the bugbear that we murdered.
There was some luck there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to leave. I'm gonna go leave those tokens as an offering to the goddess Timora. I'll place them down in a place that. Well, actually, I'll ask her. Would you like these, or should I put them on the ground next to the other things on the ground?
She gives a laugh. She's like, anyone who comes forth that needs it shall find them here to their good fortune.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I will take those two things and I will just place them in like anywhere that just kind of has place for a morning star and a shield.
Okay, you gain the basic trait Lucky, so one time you may re-roll any die.
I like that. I'm gonna put that in my notes and forget about it.
Yep. So you can use it once. It's a minor boon granted to you from the goddess of luck.
Okay.
That's any die. Damage die, anything. Doesn't matter what it is.
Understood.
I'd like to make a knowledge religion check since it's not my predominant denomination to remember any kind of elven prayer for departure.
Yeah, go for it. DC 10, basic.
Okay. Alright. As such, I'll go ahead and speak it onto the shrine and to Sister Garael as we're getting ready to leave, and I offer 2 coins for her, 2 gold, and 1 for the shrine.
So you also gain the minor boon?
Mm-hmm.
being able to re-roll any die.
I thank her again for her actual understanding.
So as you're about to leave, a group of red brands walks up to the shrine. One of them is a young man in his early 20s. He's clean-shaven, handsome, with his hair combed back. He's wearing a well-oiled chain shirt, belted at the waist with a heavy sword on his side. Not like a shorter arming sword, like an actual long sword. He swaggers up to it, and he offers a coin to the goddess. He's like, maybe she'll make me lucky with you tonight. As he snaps his fingers and points over at the priestess, who just sneers at him, and but at the same time still does the bow. He's like, then he looks both of you over. He's like, a turtle and a half human. What are you doing here? Talking with my girl.
That's strange.
Doesn't seem to be your girl.
He steps forward and he slides an arm around her waist, which she just pushes him off, and he chuckles at it. He's like, she'll be my girl. So don't get any ideas, pointy ears.
Oh,
I'm gonna get real and be like, you want him removed?
She just shakes her head. He'll remove himself and his hands.
Garel.
I can also remove his hands if you would like.
He turns to oh, and then he gets an eye. Then he finally kind of takes you in, looks at the blood-stained morning star, still caked with bits of hair on it, the heavy shell and armor. And then he really starts to notice, that's a half drow. And then he seems to think it over. He's like, maybe not a good idea. He's like, I don't think it's really worth the fight out in the streets, boys. And he looks at the other ones. Come on, let's go back and get a drink. We'll leave our new friends here.
Thank you for your donation.
The priestess mutters something very unpriestess-like as the men walk away. She curses and stomps her foot, and she heads over to the shrine, picks the coin up, and throws it at them.
Yeah.
Which just lands on the ground nearby.
I'll toss out another one of my coins instead. How about I take this one and I'll take that dirty one instead?
She's like, the only good luck it'll ever come to any of us in this town if he trips and falls on his way up to the sleeping giant and dies. She just shrugs and lets out a really loud sigh, and she's like, I apologize for my manner. I can't stand those men. They're pigs. They're all pigs.
Last I checked, there was nothing in her teachings that stipulated you had to like everybody.
It's like they've offered no challenge to me or the temple. Matter of fact, they actually leave fairly generous offerings.
Most
but
likely
I can't.
Taken from the weak.
She nods. That's why I never accept any of them. It's not good fortune to one is not taking good fortune from another.
Understood. I noticed though that if you're wanting and are willing, you're more than welcome to join us at the Stonehill Inn for a decent meal.
She mulls it over for a second. She's like, you know what? I might as well. It's getting close to night, and there's always a good meal to be had at Stonehill.
Very well then.
So she accompanies.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll stand on the other side of her from Talus and just kind of keep an eye out for red men with grabby hands.
There you go. Now we got a freaking goon squad going. Let's roll.
Alright, let me bring up this Stonehill. So in the center of town stands a large, newly built roadhouse of fieldstone and rough-hewn timbers. The common room is filled with locals nursing mugs of ale or cider, all of them eyeing you with curiosity as you enter into the tavern. The modest inn itself has 6 rooms for rent. Sildar himself has already seemed to have installed himself in one of the levels of You are greeted by a short, friendly young human male named Tobin Stonehill. He's a native of the town. He's very chatty, and he basically just pours out all of his personal details and his life story in a matter of minutes to you. Trying to ingratiate himself to you while installing you near a roaring fire and putting just heavy mugs of ale in your hands. He seems to take no notice of your character disposition or your cleanliness. It just seems to be blissfully ignorant of anything, any trouble that could possibly happen. And it just is busying himself with putting food in front of you and ale without even getting an idea of if you have money to pay for any of it. He's not a good businessman, it seems.
Yeah. Well, my good side, I do appreciate the hospitality. I do want to specify, I was told by the proprietor at the Lion Shield Costa that we were to have a night free here, one night. It's me and my 3 compatriots.
Oh, he's like, that'll be fine. He can put it on her tab. She keeps a pretty short one. She's orderly and good with paying that off. Though with all the caravans that have been waylaid recently, he doesn't know how long her line of credit will be able to hold out. But she'll be good for it in the future. So he's not that concerned with it. It's not an opinion his wife seems to share with him, as she comes out muttering about finances and where are we supposed to get the mutton this evening, and how am I supposed to pay for all the linens to house all these people? And she's just saying it openly in front of you guys. She's slamming down mugs in front of you, and then looking at each of your dirty boots, your worn travel clothing, and just sniffing. I'm gonna have to draw a bath for them, and now I'm gonna have to get the boys. You over there, stop standing around and get back to work! She shouts at one of the young barmaids, and she yips and runs back to a back room to prepare something.
Happily married, I see.
He nods. Yep, for 20 years. Apple of my eye.
Oh, the layers of hell. But thank you for the rooms. Thank you.
He has a horde of children that are just kind of navigating in and out of the common room constantly. It's pointless to even name all of them.
Yeah.
Because there's just too many of the little tykes running about.
They're dwarves, right? Are they dwarves? I'm sorry.
No, they're just short humans.
Oh, okay. Aren't dwarves just short humans, though?
For the most part, yeah.
Every dwarf within a 20-mile radius drops their ale.
Yeah, I know. They just look at you with dirty looks. How dare you?
You might as well be comparing us to a knife here.
Suddenly you start seeing the rippling in the ale as the horde dwarves come rising over the hills.
So one of the barmaids that's been assigned to you to bring you out any goods and see to your needs, she's rather gossipy. And if there's and she also tells you if there's anything you need to know about the town, just let me know, and I'll be happy to help you out. But she does give a heavy look at I already forgot her name, Sister Gariel, and she's looking at her, then looking at the elf, and she just kind of gives a knowing nod and eyebrow waggle and walks away. To which Gariel's just but whatever, child. This is not what you think. No.
I don't know, Talus. Talus went to go say a prayer and came back with a nun. Interesting. That's all.
Well, I understand for a large quantity of smaller shrines and whatnot here, it can be hard to get a decent-sized meal sometimes. And it's always nice to meet a fellow elf.
Always the do-gooder.
So, any of you want to do a little? Who wants to chat up the people in the town, or in the tavern itself? Who's wanted to do that?
I would love to probe for information.
Okay, so there's a couple targets. You have an old farmer. You have the gossipy barmaid. You have somebody who's obviously a miner. He's just that heavy, bodied, thick, calloused hands. You have the innkeeper's wife, Trelina, which you've already met, who she seems to look lowly on you.
Yeah.
There's one of the boys who's a little bit older, And, well, older being a relative term, he's about 9 or 10. Pip, who's made himself well known to you already, asking like a dozen questions about adventuring. And there's an older woman who's set to a large. She has like a portable weaving assemblage that she set up on one of the tables, and she's just currently working that loom.
I'll take the gossipy barmaid.
All right. So Elsa wants you to know that there's she sees that you're an adventurer, and she offers like freely that there's another guy in town you might want to meet. His name is Darren Eldermath. He was also an adventurer at one point. You know, he's settled in the town now. He just maintains the orchard, and that's where they get all their cider from. So he might have some information for you if you actually go to talk to him. Also, she wants you to know, like whispered voice, like Sister Gariel. She, you know, you might want to watch out for her. She's a little bit more excitable than the others around here. It said that she came back to the shrine a few days ago, you know, exhausted, covered in mud, with a heavy limp. Who knows what kind of wild things she was getting into in the night.
Interesting. Please go on.
Well, that's pretty much all she knows about those things. I'm leaving you some of the other people. Most of it's just town gossip that's useless.
Yeah. Cool.
Anyone else want to talk to anybody else after you've pumped the barmaid?
I'm gonna go into one phrasing, and two, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna sit in the back corner of, like, we just find a corner, like a table in the corner of the room. I'm gonna sit there. I'm just gonna listen for like any troubles of the area, any like just check out, see if the red brands around, see how many of them are there.
The red brands themselves do not seem to come into this inn. It's not necessarily that they're unwelcome, it just doesn't seem like it's really their kind of fare. You do hear a couple of the locals are talking about in hushed tones. Since you're listening in, you do hear it. There was a man that they sometimes talk about, like, as soon as his name comes up, anyone who talks about it is immediately hushed. His name was Thel Drendrar. He's a local wood carver. Yeah, he stood up to the red brands 10 days ago, and something happened. There was some kind of altercation. But there's like some mutterings about what happened to the wife and kids. But everyone kind of like goes into their cups pretty quick on that, and they discontinue the conversation.
Okay. I'm assuming if I don't have a drink, I'm gonna get one, and I'm gonna take a nice big swig of it and just kind of mull over my thoughts while the rest of my party has their fun.
Yeah.
I suppose to help waylay some of the assault on poor Lucian, I'll take talking to the excitable child.
Tobin or Pip?
Pip.
Yeah, Pip. So Pip is excited to see a dark elf. He's never seen one before in his life, and he wants to like know, like, are you dark all over? Like, are your fingernails dark? Are your teeth white? Like, how does it?
I'll
Like, how
actually
does
show
it
him my
work?
fingernails. I'll show him my teeth.
Yeah, he is just shocked by it. Like, why are you so dark? Is it because there's no sunlight where you come from? He just doesn't understand the concept, and he doesn't look at you with any fear.
Oh, yeah. I'm just gonna placate him with like fun little anecdotes, little entertaining concepts. You know, maybe joke around with him. It's like, because grown dark elves, they are so dark so they can sneak in the night and get you, and like tickle him on the side.
And he squeals with laughter, much to the dismay of his mother, who just kind of frowns at him, but she doesn't interrupt because, again, he's not underfoot this way.
I'll pantomime a "I'm sorry" to her.
She just shrugs and shakes, and boys will be boys, and just kind of walks away and just leaves this like stranger dark elf with her child. It's like, oh well, I got like 6 other ones. This one gets eaten. Oh well.
But I'll steer him towards like anything interesting that he might know about the town.
Well, so that's what he actually does have something interesting. Is that Quelline, who is Quellive Outerline. He's son of Carp Outerline. They're halflings that live nearby. He had found a secret tunnel in the woods, but unfortunately some of the red brands almost caught him. He got away though, because he's quick and he's small.
That's actually really cool.
He can hide better than anyone else. It's like, but he won't show me where the tunnel is. He says it's too dangerous. His mom's forbidden him from going.
He might be right. Those guys are pretty big and mean.
Like they are.
I'll go ahead and sick him back on his brothers and whatnot, and let him know if they want to ask any questions or anything. They're always welcome to come talk to me.
Yep. You find out that the elderly farm is just to the southeast.
Hmm.
It's actually a fairly well prosperous farm. Again, halflings being naturally good farmers.
Right. You said the elderly farm, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Right.
I also offer, by the way, to pay for Geraldine's meal.
She thanks you for it, but she actually gets meals free from the inn.
Oh, well then that's always good.
Yeah. She takes care of a lot of the animals that they maintain, like the horses, the cows, and any of the goats that get any kind of sicknesses. So to compensate her, they offer her free meals.
It's a nice town, it seems. So much different than Candlekeep, or than Candlekeep.
Which begins an entire conversation with her about Candlekeep. If you escape, she more or less follows you. You've like struck a chord that is that she's a nerd, and she gets deep into her books, and she wants to know everything and anything about Candlekeep.
I gladly.
Because she's always wanted. Yeah, she's always wanted to study there. That literally murders your night. Like it's done. You're logged in scholarly conversation with an uber nerd.
That's all.
And so, what about Grim?
I have no idea.
You have what?
Good. I have no idea. Just because typically I wouldn't be walking around talking to people.
There is the old woman, the weaver, who's in the corner. Well, actually, sorry, near the fireplace by one of the walls. She motions to you, and she like wants you to come closer.
Okay.
And she's like she squints at you, and she peels with down. She's like, "Oh, Kenku! Oh, I used to remember when your kind would come through town, steal anything that wasn't nailed down. But the shows you'd put on. It's like, can you be like your brother? Can you do any voices? You seen any plays? From the city? Oh, it's been so long." She's asking you to if you could recite any of the poetry of the plays that were around.
Do I know any?
Did you see any? You're Kenku. You could perfectly recreate any one that you've seen or heard.
But did I see any?
You are literally... Again, that's up to Grim.
I think he's offering you the chance.
No, I'm asking you as the player.
Yeah, he's asking you as the DM.
This is your chance to develop your character.
Would you have liked to have seen them?
Yeah, because you're literally the recordable cassette player of Dungeons and Dragons. Like, people keep Kenkus on retainer to send them out to go watch plays so they don't have to go out and go see them themselves.
I never knew about.
Like, if there was a famous singer about, like, and you would go watch the performance, you could recreate that. So, was it in Grimm's interest? Like, what was what kind of entertainment would Grimm have sought out? Does he go into, like, a blood and glory sea shanty? Like, does he launch into prose about a poetic love between two star-crossed lovers? Does he begin some rant against, like, the demoralizing, like, effects of alcohol and adultery upon the masses and how it's tearing our society apart? Like, what was Grimm's source of entertainment when he walked around the cities and ports?
Probably anything having to do with the rich being taken over by the poor or something like that.
So pauper stories, like Robin Hood type adventures.
Yeah.
So you regale her with a few short stories that you had heard performed at merchant stalls, by peddlers and fools that are at countless city corners and intersections of streets across the lands. And she is overjoyed and laughs at each of them while she continues at her weaving work. And for your performance, she offers you up bits of information. So you find from her, like, after your little story about like rising up against like people that were evil, that that oppressed the weak and put okay kitty, that oppressed the weak and hurt the frail. That there was a man who would have been a hero in any other story. And it's just a damn shame what they did to him.
Is that the woodworker?
She nods. Yes.
What was it that they did?
It's Thel. It's the Red Brands. They came in and they leered at his wife, made suggestions at her. She was a pretty lass. And then you stood up to them, told them not to, be gone, to back off, and just like a hero in one of the tales, he stood up to the bully. And then they stabbed him in the stomach, dragged his wife and daughter away screaming. She looks off at the into the fireplace, and her eyes are wet with tears, and she uses the back of her hand to dry them. She's like, "That's done now. Nothing can be done about it."
Is there no magistrate?
She snorts. The magister, the town master, coward. Everyone here. She's like, she looks at her own hands, wrinkled and shaking and old. She's like, "There's nothing. Everyone here is just too afraid for themselves. Won't band together." She's like, "There's enough bodies here. Good, strong bodies. They won't risk themselves against the Red Brands. I don't know where they get their weapons, their armor." And she's like, "Because it's not like the stories. You stand up to people with weapons, you die by those weapons."
Does she know where they sleep?
She looks around the room and she like leans in closer to you conspiratorially. She's like, "Up at the Tresendar Manor." She's like, they're underneath it in the old catacombs of the family. She says, "If you decide, for whatever reason, to go up there, she's like, I remember when I was a girl and I used to go explore. There's a lot of secret doors, old passages, bolt holes where the old Tresendar family used to use to be able to escape from any kind of raid. It's like suspect every wall." She winks at you before she like goes back to her weaving. Ah, those stories, those heroes. Yes, those stories. All right, next person.
So rotate back to me, I suppose?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna finish my drink. I'm gonna go just from where I'm sitting. I'm assuming I can just kind of see where all my compatriots have decided to hang out with random people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go over to Grim. I'm gonna grab him and be like, "Come on, bud, let's go." And I'm gonna go slowly gather everyone together and call a conference.
Okay. So you're all back at your tables, meals in front of you, more mugs of cider laid out in front. And what does Gulick want to discuss?
Make a lot of money right now. And do a lot of food.
I swallow a piece of my my meal. Are you referring to the Red Barons?
Yes. they're hurting these people. They brush it off as much as they can, but
I wipe my mouth a bit, like, I'll go get my Warhammer.
But personally,
Warhammer on.
I'm worried. They're getting arms and support from somewhere.
Well, they did take over the manor, and supposedly in the catacombs of the major family.
Catacombs.
So maybe they took over. Maybe they're not getting support, but maybe they stole their support.
Possibility. The boy Pip that I spoke to mentioned one of the halflings from the Alderleaf farm had found some kind of cave entrance, some form of hole out in the wilds that the Red Nerds were quick to shoo them away from. Mayhap that might be some additional entry point into those catacombs. If we use that, we might be able to catch them with their pants down.
Seeing how they don't want anyone else near it, maybe if we went that way into it, then they wouldn't see us coming either.
Exactly.
We could also just pick one off. Tie him up.
Oh, tie him to a chair and leave him in a room with me for about 20 minutes. I'll get all the information we need.
Gareli sits down like near you. She like lowers her head near her mug. She says, "If you want to strike at the Red Brands, hit them at the sleeping giant. They'll be drunk, sloppy."
I like easy targets.
Well, looks like I know what my evening plans are for the night. I'm afraid we'll have to continue our discussion regarding Candlekeep another time then.
She shakes her head. She's like, she's like, there's you know that one who talked to me earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Get him alive. There's a woman, Halia. She runs the Miners' Exchange, just to the south of town. Bring him to her bound. She's been wanting to talk to him.
Halia.
Does he need to be in one piece? Like alive and bound, yes, but in one piece?
Just out of character, wasn't Halia the wife of the man who was like murdered?
No.
Okay, another one, that one. Alright.
I'm gonna push into the 2 nets that I bought from the officer. And I believe we have that covered. Let's whenever I'm gonna just take the rest of my meal and just shove it down my throat, just in one gulp. It's disgusting. And just wipe off my face with one of my big turtle mitts and stand up and head for the door.
I guess we're doing this now.
Oh, I'll give Sister Grail a kiss on the hand and be like, "We shall be off then."
She's like, she smiles, like, see Halia first, if you can. She doesn't like to be disturbed.
So be it then.
So quick pit stop, and then we
if you all want.
deal with some drunkards.
I suppose we could hobble a few of them. Might at least limit their ability to harm anybody.
How dark is it outside? Like what time of day are we at?
So you're getting it's that time like just after twilight where the sun is set fully and the sky is turning to a deep purple and long shadows. So you can only see past towards the next house, but the moon is full and the sky is clear, and there's plenty enough to see by.
I extend my arms outward, take a deep breath, and thank, Saloon. This is her time. Justice shall be wrought upon this day.
So the dim light becomes bright to you, and you can see just fine.
I'm gonna motion to Grim. I'm gonna give him. Hold on a second. Sorry, I need to clear my. I'm gonna. Do you have any rope, Christian?
Yes.
You have rope? Okay, never mind then. I'm gonna tell Grim to get some rope ready, and come with me, and we're gonna go. I want to. I mean, they can go. We're gonna split the party again, I think, because we should probably just have Lucian. Let's go talk to Halia. Well, me and Grim recover the item.
It will be
I'll
a
express this
combat
to the
encounter.
party.
I don't recommend it just as a balance thing, because the red brands are they're skilled. Even when they're drunk, they're still kind of hard to hit. Unless you do it stealthily, which you can still do.
Try to pick one off without a fight, but I guess that could work too.
Well, then before we head out anywhere, I'll make sure that Gullik and Grim have a blessing of Saloon again, so that they can see better.
Good. You could also skip going to go see going to the Miners' Exchange. Just go straight to the Sleeping Giant if you wanted to. You don't have to warm Halia. You just show up with them and like, we have a present. We don't know you, but we heard you want this dude.
Yeah, we have a bard. He can sweet talk her. It's fine.
Surprises are always nice.
Scenario, I could just run over.
It's literally like a gift to somebody you're meeting for the first time. It's like, hello, this is our letter of introduction. This person's body. Heard you wanted it.
Yeah, so let's just go to Sleeping Giant and just deal with this.
Now, how do you want to do it?
As we go, I'm gonna ask
Go in
Grim. Grim,
I want to. Go ahead.
Can you impersonate one of the men that we heard earlier? Was he around when they were talking, or was that or was he not around? I can't remember. He was.
We had put him inside the inn.
Oh crap! Never mind then. Never mind then.
All he has to do is get close enough to listen to him. So if he can stealth up to the building.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I think that might be our best bet is find
just
a back door for you two, since you're both stealthier, and Gullik and I can go walk through the front door. We can do that. Insert attack.
What if I go in?
We're not gonna do a head-on attack on an inn.
No.
That's not how this is gonna work. We're gonna try to learn when out, pick them up, and go away with them.
Well, I'll put you guys actually on that map.
What if I go in, doing a performance of some sort to get them all to focus on me in their drunken stupor? Maybe they won't notice you guys coming in.
Drunken idiots might just become hostile. I worry of that.
Just because I'm doing a performance?
Just because they're drunken idiots.
A lot of times the angle of being the fool that appears isn't such a bad angle.
We could try it.
Because at least that would be a distraction, so they're not focused on, hey, look, we're being...
Yeah, we're being invaded.
And if I use my knowledge of performance, plays, and so forth.
Why don't you go in with them and do a joint act?
Well, if we can... Do we know what this individual looks like that we're trying to nab?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very easily.
All right.
Gullik and I could describe him to you perfectly.
Well, if you point him out, I might just be able to get him to walk out with us. Willingly, and...
That's a good point, yeah.
Maybe sees me as a friend?
Not a problem. We'll use that as plan A, and plan B will be to punt the door in and start a fight if things go south.
Alright, plan B is breaching clear. Okay, fine.
Well, I mean, it's plan B and C, right?
Gullik, you are here for breach and clear, my good sir.
I'm screaming paper cut in the background for some reason.
Because there's a paper cut.
Yeah.
To my elf eyes, I count 3 currently.
Me as well.
My turtle eyes only see 2, so I don't know where you're getting the third one from.
He's inside.
One is inside. I can see through a window.
It's just an
there he
angle.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 4.
Again, not all of these are going to be active, like, participants in any kind of scuffle.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Especially if you pick your fights right.
Yeah. If things go well, this will probably end with just a single, like, raffle stomp.
Yeah. So, the Sleeping Giant Tap House is a ramshackle building. Put together with just looks like rubble and slapped together with boards. There's just garbage and debris strewn across the outside of it. There's drunken red brands like just slouched in chairs across tables with food left out and being torn over by rats wrestling underneath tables. It's got a muddy front steps that circle around back, which you can hear people like burping and farting around the corner. You can hear loud conversation on the inside and somebody playing a very, very bad lyre singing out of tune. The crash of a bottle against the wall as the drinking and rabble rousing continues. All right. So who's going up?
I need one who has seen the individual to come with me.
I suppose I can go if Gullick wants to stay behind. I'm sorry?
Well, I thought I was going in with the
Yeah, I thought you two were going in, and we can kind of point him out from the door once we get over there.
Yeah.
As long as I know which one I'm trying to get out to come with me.
I will describe him.
Wow,
I can actually hear music for the first time.
Same.
Is the one to my right in front of the door, or am I in front of the door?
The door's right here.
Okay, yeah,
That's a window. All right, so you want to go through the door?
I guess we're going through the door.
Do I need to
So
do a performance check coming in as part of the performance?
If that's how you wanted to approach it, is you're just kind of like striding in, like strumming an instrument.
Well, he's strumming and I'm dancing, kind of ish.
Well, I need to
Okay, yeah.
I need to grab the guy, or talk to the guy and get him out. So I don't know if I could be part of the full performance.
Well, I mean, you could probably
you could
play
start.
something while talking.
Yeah, I can start. I'll pull out my violin.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so yeah, performance checks from both of you, and they're drunks, so this isn't difficult to do. You're just trying to trick a bunch of people with like that aren't very clever. So that's gonna do it. And what does Grim get for his performance?
+1.
Yeah, it works.
Grim's deciding to copy like a really good performer. Probably not Lucian.
Not currently. My rolls are just
trying to keep an
terrible.
eye. I think he's too busy focusing on trying to find his target.
I am.
Riding into the tap house. Your target is in
playing Wonderwall.
back by the by the fireplace, like sitting at a table with a group of other men playing at a hand of cards. Again, the tap house is just disgusting. There's just beer stains across the ground, like food discarded on tables, dirty plates piled high, freely traveling roaches in the orange glow of the fire, and it just reeks. Everybody turns to watch you as Lucian and what is Grim doing as part of his performance? Is he tumbling?
Like ish.
Well, tumbling would just be an acrobatic display, like coming in on a handstand, doing little acrobatic somersaults and tricks.
Yeah.
Juggling even. And so Lucian's just coming in, horned head, playing a violin or fiddle, your body little tune.
Yep, just a little tune to go along with what he's doing.
You see the person who's playing the lyre in the corner is incredibly thankful that somebody else is coming. He's like, "Oh God, thank God!" Puts it down, takes a heavy drop from a drink nearby. So the entire room just reeks of sweat and stale ale. And the men who are there just gladly take on the performance. And there's already calls for like, hey, play the one about the wench! The one with the big, big milkers! And then you get some laughs out of everybody who are over there. You can pick up any tune you want as you're kind of moving through the crowd. What about Talus and Gullick?
Well, my turn, Talus. You probably should have established like a code word or something.
I suppose. What's the state of this gentleman right here?
Bleary-eyed, drunk, and barely aware of his surroundings.
Alright, I'm gonna kind of guide him over to and take a seat right over here.
He gladly does so.
Cool. There, now we can get a good view in. I'll signal for Gullick over here if he wants.
I'm just gonna go over here next to these barrels. Is there any, is just barrels full of, like, booze?
Yeah, it does appear to be so. They're just beer barrels.
Those ones are going for Triple X.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
special
it's a
one.
barrel.
Yeah. It's a special barrel, not allowed inside. Not 18 yet, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah, I'll say, just kind of like, I'll face myself in the correct direction here.
And yeah, you're probably right. We probably should.
I'm just gonna kind of punch down over here. Just check out what's this guy doing over here. What's this friend doing? Yeah.
Oh, he's sitting down in a folded chair. He's got a tall cider in his hand. He's just drinking from it, kind of slowly swaying back and forth. He's if he gets too deep into that cup, he's gonna fall off that chair and pass out.
I'm just gonna kind of keep stuck in the situation. Also, actually, I'm gonna put my back. Sorry, I'm gonna put my back up to these barrels. I'm gonna go here, and I'm just gonna look out for any further red brand activity, like anybody else who's coming.
Alright, so one is stumbling up around the outside edge of the building, kind of like dragging his boots. He gets behind this barrel right here, and you can hear him like unbuckling his belt as he leans against one of the barrels and just begins to relieve himself against the side of it.
I'm going to do this.
So what are Grim and Lucian doing as they step inside and people are screaming about songs about the body lass with the big milkers?
Can I hear the target?
Well, you can see him.
Yeah, he's...
Well, I know. Is he saying anything?
Again, over the crowd, you won't be able to hear him. And also the music, you can't hear
him.
Why not dance on the table?
Shake your tail feathers.
I was gonna say, that's a table they're playing cards at. You might not want to step on their card game.
Where's the card game at?
Back table.
Right here.
Alright. I'm gonna make my way over to here and ask them how much it is to join in.
I'll get a chuckle. It's like, we don't play with Kenku. We know better. One of the other ones is like, "No, that's kind of mean to say to the boy. That's 5 gold. You could join on the next hand."
Like progressive bandits.
Progressive bandits, yeah. So playing my tune, making my way into the room. I see the individual there. Question DM. With the visual and semantic components of charm person.
You can thread them into your performance.
Okay, cool. That's what I was hoping to do. I would like to attempt to charm the individual.
Okay.
That is, I don't for some reason don't have it typed in that sheet specifically there, but I have it in the other one where it's a wisdom save of 13.
He knows automatically.
Yeah, he does know automatically. You know,
What makes it fun?
Yeah,
Well,
it does.
It make it really fun.
It makes it really fun, but I'm also in a very bad place for that to become fun. I'm gonna
like
ganked so
hand gesture
fast.
at the window.
Drunk
Let him
counts
know
as
he's
poisoned,
in.
so they have disadvantage on all their attacks.
Okay. Attacks and saves, or just attacks?
Yeah, saves. They're
Saves,
poisoned, so I think they get the status effect poisoned.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try a charm person.
Okay. So let's see what he gets. Rolling 2 of these, and he fails.
Yes. So after realizing it worked, I'd like to make my way over to the table, kind of come around to him, and just kind of like give him a nod. He immediately thinks I recognize me as a friend, and just kind of let him know that on my way in, apparently there's a woman of a cloth that wanted to speak to him. She seemed really happy about it.
He's excited as he tells you, like, it looks like the Lady of Luck has struck, and they all kind of chuckle as they laugh with the. It's like, don't worry, the Kenku can take your hand.
Yeah, she was just down the road.
He points to the Kenku. Lucky for you, because it's a good hand. As he folds the cards down, and he motions for you to take his seat.
All right.
Them for the
They're
rest of
like-
the campaign.
Yeah, the other one's like, he doesn't have a good hand. I got a good hand. He's got crap for cards. So does the Kenku cheat?
Before taking the seat, can I see what the other cards are?
Yes. Perception check. So you easily spot the hands of each of the other two, despite how well they're guarding them, before you seat yourself down at the other side to take a look at your cards. You do have a losing hand, but you're pretty sure you can bluff them. And swipe and there's a shiny pile of coins in front of you.
All right.
But I will guide my good sir, my good friend. It's like, oh yeah, she's just down this way. I'll show you. She was looking for you. Looked real excited, real happy.
It's like, I knew that little hussy couldn't resist me. He's like, luck's been good tonight. So do you want to try to intimidate them with bluffs, or do you want to try to persuade them?
I want to.
Like, intimidating would be like bidding up, whereas like a persuasion might just be casual conversation at the table. You know, you play mind tricks with them, or you sleight of hand and you cheat.
I want to sleight a hand and cheat.
Right? Because
Oh,
any of
God.
these ones are going to go against their insight or their perception. Their insight is for the bluffing, but their perception is going to be going against your sleight of hand.
Mm-hmm.
They're drunk, and so they're going to have a disadvantage on their save, on their versus throw. So go ahead and go for your sleight of hand and cheat your hand up.
Nah.
Oof.
Whoa! Dang it!
No, they got disadvantage.
Oh
That's
jeez.
Ooh, okay, well, you're gonna win. I'm pretty sure on this one, because it is their perception, which is a -1.
There it is.
And the other one, yeah, so they can't beat you because you have a total 20. So even if I rolled a 20 like I did, it still would be a 19. So you cheat, you win the pot, you win 15 gold. And you're able to escort this pretty boy out the door.
Yep.
And none the wiser to the other ones that are there. They're like, hey, congratulations, boss. Yeah, go get some. And he's like, yeah. I'm gonna get myself some priestess tonight. What is like now that Grimm's alone playing at cards? What does he do?
I asked him
strategy
where the privy is.
Ah, good. I tell you, it's just out back.
Which looks like the easiest way to get out back.
Front door.
Front door. I make actions like I really have to go, like it's gonna leak into my pants, and I just go out the door.
As long as you promise to come back, so they have some chance to win back some of that gold.
All right, I guide this pretty boy out, leading him past my friends. And does it look like there's anywhere I can bring him where we could pretty much mug him without anybody seeing?
Pretty easily just outside the along the street. Again, it's dark, and there's the buildings themselves are kind of spread out, so there's big areas of just blackness where you could just beat the ever-living piss out of them.
Well, I will lead him over to some of those areas.
All right. I'm not going to make him.
Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm not going to roll you guys on this one. It's just you gangbuster them. So you have successfully avoided a full-out combat encounter with the Red Brand Ruffians by abducting one of their leaders and just dragging him out.
Yes.
With a clever ruse and encounter, and we got one of you came out 15 gold richer.
I love it when a plan comes together.
And Golik almost got peed on.
Almost.
It was a win for everybody, all things considered.
I was hoping.
Window.
Yeah, I was hoping Gulick was going to get a chance to just murder some humans, but I guess not. That's fine.
Plenty of time for that. There's plenty of time for that.
Plenty of time for that. Okay. I'm going to move you guys back to the larger Fandolin map.
You said 20 gold, or did you say 15 gold?
15 gold. So, you have your prisoner.
Yeah.
I imagine you bind him.
Oh, we rough him up a little bit, and we bind him real good.
And throw him on my shoulder. Fireman
So where do you bring him to the miners' exchange, or do you take him someplace else?
Depends. Do we want to pump him for information first?
He's drunk and we just beat him up. He's not going to give us anything.
He doesn't even know who we are. What if we take him to Halia?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then watch her make sure she doesn't kill him first, or
And squeeze some information out of him while she also squeezes some information out of him? Yeah, you can make a joint effort.
Yeah, actually, that sounds like a plan. I'd like to ask him real quick before we leave if he knows the an alternate entrance into their catacombs.
He... Again, since you guys kind of bloodied him up, busted a lip, given him a black eye, you haven't really broken any ribs yet. He gives you a couple choice words and where you can shove him.
I place a block between his ankles, lay him on one side, and raise my warhammer in both hands. I will ask you one more time, good sir, as I raise it over my shoulder. Are you sure you don't know anything? Be an awful shame never to walk again.
Man, those ankles are going to be...
He's looking at you. He's looking at you, looking at his ankle, looking at you like you wouldn't do it.
I'm actually very good.
I crouch down next to his head. Oh, he will.
It's like,
can't help it. It's that drow in me.
He's like, oh god, man. Why'd you have to look like him? You act like him too.
I've seen it before.
He's like, there's a tunnel in the woods on the south side of the manor. He's like, you could get in through there. You can't tell anybody that you cannot tell anybody that I told you this. They will kill me.
I didn't know where I heard it from.
He just breathes like, oh, thank the gods.
But I totally know exactly where I got that information.
You are lucky.
He's a lucky boy.
He did give an offering to the Shrine of Luck. He gets to keep his foot.
Because I was gonna mush it into paste.
You know? That's why I didn't ask for a check, because you were gonna do it.
I felt bad.
Yeah,
but I could atone for it later.
Yeah. We don't need an intimidation check when you literally have the weapon in your hand and the block already there. It's like, no, that's a pass. He fails. Okay. So he's given you that information, which correlates to the information you heard from Pep.
Excellent. Now we have an exact location, peeps.
Yeah, well, having to involve the kid from the elderly farm too.
The less people we drag into this, the better.
That's true.
Because I don't know if this is like a branch of their mercenary band or if it's the entirety of them here.
Also true.
So
yeah, you don't know what kind of retaliation it might be dealing with.
Yeah, for all we know, we come back here a month later and the entire thing is blazed.
Right now, the only story that the ones left in the Sleeping Giant know is that they lost all their money to Cancun.
Yeah, they lost their money to the Cancun.
And their dude went off to try to get some.
Yeah.
All right, so now where to next?
I believe we have a donation to make into Miss Halia.
Yep, the Miners Exchange. So when you get to the Miners Exchange itself, it being evening, it's not completely shuttered up. There's clerks still at work inside the main floor, and there's people like walking out with small sacks of money from like earlier hauls that they've turned over. Mm-hmm. There's a few people out front just discussing, business basically, like areas we can strike out from, spots that offer promising veins of ore. Again, just the kind of conversation you would expect from miners and prospectors.
Gotcha. Well then, pardon me, folks. Would you all happen to know where we might be able to find Miss Halia?
Again, miners they're all kind of a type, rougher individuals, almost permanently dirty. And he looks at you and he's like, "Yeah, she's just indoors. Let me rouse her." And he steps up to it, opens up the door. He's like, "Halia, some people out to see you." And you hear somebody like curse in one of the languages of the East, like a heavy one with like a guttural noise in the throat. And she comes up, and you see the silhouette of a rail thin woman, like ascetic, but also very athletic. When she comes into the light where you can see her plainly, she is older, with wrinkled, parched skin, but dark hair streaked with gray. She has hard brown eyes, and a very cruel smile. When she looks over each of you, and she sees the bound and beaten up Redbrand, she just smiles, and it's not a pleasant smile.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take him, because I'm holding him. I'm just gonna take him, and I'm just gonna throw him to the ground at her feet.
We apologize for not announcing ourselves earlier, ma'am. We hope that this might be a bit of a peace offering in that accord.
Again, this is the kind of smile a wolf makes. It's just showing her teeth.
I like this one.
You like a lot of people here.
I like a lot of these people so far. These people so far.
Yeah, these are rough people. That's what it is.
These are your people.
It's a frontier.
It's okay. These are your people. I'm all for it.
Yeah, they don't have time for BS and empty pleasantries. Halia looks down. She's like, "Hector! Oh, baby, what happened?" Hector gets up on a knee, looks up at her. He's like, "Halia." She's like, she introduces herself as Halia, the proprietor and owner of the Miner Exchange here. She openly announces, she's like, I'm a part of an organization you might have heard of called the Zentarim, which any of you guys that are familiar with the Forgotten Realms or the Sword Coast know that normally the Zentarim is a shadow organization. It's like a criminal syndicate. They're not
that man
typically,
is dead.
Yeah, they're not typically open about who they are, but Halia doesn't seem to care. She's managing an operation out in an area that's not ruled by any kind of authority or law. So she is the authority of law for the most part.
Yeah.
She grabs him by his thick hair and pulls it back. She's like, "Oh, they bruised your pretty face," and which he grunts and it's like, "It's not like you would really care." She's like, "You're right, I don't." And without you even getting a chance to react, she runs a small dagger into his stomach.
Well, we wanted. Never mind. Okay.
I should have asked which one of his people killed that man.
As Hector dies slowly on the ground from a disemboweling injury, because it's not immediately fatal what she did to him. She just pushes him to the ground and rolls him on his side where he can moan and die slow. She's like, "He did it. Killed a good man."
Oh, he was the one.
And then savaged his wife in front of the entire town while they sat there gape-mouthed and did nothing. She looks at two of the men that are nearby. She points at them and she makes a rounded motion with her hands. They both nod and then stride off out into the night. She's like, "Come inside. We have a lot to discuss."
Well, who am I to not partake in such a generous offer?
Happy to.
You just step over the body of the guy who's slowly bleeding out on the ground.
I give him a swift kick.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do too.
What is he wearing for his like clothes?
He has nice clothes. They're covered with blood now and internal viscera.
Yeah, but like, what is he wearing?
He was wearing clothing. I don't know, nothing very fine, just well made.
Nothing's significant to.
Nothing that really stands out.
Like a uniform. I think he means like anything to indicate that he's
Pantaloons,
thinking about
boots,
it from
the red cloak.
Thinking about it from a disguise standpoint.
No, nothing. Just the red cloak, which is the one thing that all of the red brands carry.
Well, this is yours.
Is he wearing any jewelry?
He does have a ring, silver, with a small garnet in the set inside of it.
Sneakily try to just nab that ring.
It's fastened on there pretty well.
I just lean over to Gulk. Yeah, I was gonna say I lean over to Gulk. He's not using that finger anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my hatchet, one of my hatchets out, just kind of take that finger off. I kind of want to take that with me.
Good man.
Halia looks over her shoulder as you just take his finger, then pull the ring off from the opposite end. And she's like, "Well, that'll make the story easier for people to believe." Like, come on inside, have a drink.
Does he have any pouches on him?
He does.
Can I rifle through them?
Yeah, you just take the pouch.
Okay.
He has 5 gold coins, 10 silver.
After the rest of the crew go in, before I do, I'd like to lean down to him, ask him where he's from, and then offer a prayer for his, silent departure, and ask if he'd like me to end it faster.
He moans and he just asks you to heal him. Please just heal me. Get Gralia, she'll do it. She'll heal me.
Yeah.
I instead raise my hammer and bring it down on his skull.
It's like healing.
You will feel no more pain.
So, when you come in, presume wiping your hammer off on the grass.
Yeah, I take his cloak as well, just in case we need it for a disguise.
Halia sitting down at a rough-cut table with a few simple stools. There's charts and maps and inventory reports scattered everywhere. She looks about the room at all the clerks, and she's just out. And they all just start grabbing their stuff and leaving as quick as they can. She motions to the vacated stools, and then sets herself up next to a small fire, where she pours out a few drinks. And what you find just to be just cold water. She doesn't offer you any alcohol.
I'll gladly partake of the water.
It's like, "I'm sorry to have to inform you that tortured that man to death, and now 2 of their members have gone up to the manor to inform their leaders that some adventurers have come into the town and killed one of their own unprovoked.
I'd hardly call it unprovoked, as I set the cup down.
She's like, was that wet smack you?
Yes.
It's too bad. I wanted him to suffer.
He asked me to heal him.
She chuckles. I suppose that's one way to do it.
I couldn't, given the sins the man committed. I couldn't in good conscience let him a chance to do it again.
So who sent you over here with this gift?
Sister Gareli mentioned that you would be more interested in this gentleman.
She swears. She shakes her head. That conniving elf. She's a Harper agent, you know?
How long do you think we have until they return?
Oh, they're all drunk right now. A few hours at best. I'm not gonna have my men go in there just right away. They'll wait for a few before they step in.
So you're selling us down the river for bringing you a present. Don't get me wrong. It's a solid play.
Well, actually, I'm not selling you down the river. I'm going to be offering you quite a bit of money if you murder every human being inside that building.
You know, that coincides with something that we had talked about possibly doing, so, you know, getting paid for it always works.
Yes, I just needed the leverage to make sure you actually would do it.
Oh, honey.
You
don't need to leverage me to kill these kinds of people.
Yeah, I needed him dead, and I needed somebody to be able to take the blame for it in case they decided to come after me or mine. I'm ruthless, but I don't have enough men to be able to take them on. You all, on the other hand, seem strong enough.
Oh, yeah.
I can offer you 100 gold if you bring me the head of their leader, this man named Glassstaff.
Just the head, or do you want to do the same
Oh,
to
I'd
him?
actually prefer the Glassstaff itself. I've only seen him once. But the Glassstaff would be good enough to take him with.
Alright.
The cloaks, too.
Well, I put down the first one.
She chuckles. A down payment.
Consider it a sign of good faith.
In the Harpers?
Yeah, it's a secret organization of do-gooders. They try to involve themselves in the politics of areas around the Sword Coast to some lesser or some lesser or greater degree. She's cleverly trying to manipulate me. Nobody manipulates me.
So what is a criminal organization from the Sword Coast over here?
She's like, well, technically, this still is part of the Sword Coast, a little bit further inland.
You're not wrong, but here?
Where there's minerals, there's money, and where there's money, there's the Zentarim. Somebody has to keep this operation, if not legal, then at least organized. And since there's no law here except for the town master.
I hear everyone hates him.
I have not heard his moniker mentioned in positive inference yet.
He's not a bad man. He's just a slow one. If it wasn't for the Red Brands, he'd be a quite capable administrator. Easy to strong arm, easy to keep under thumb.
Yeah, but easy to manipulate for one is easy to manipulate for others, so it doesn't always work out.
That's exactly the problem.
Sweet.
But now that you're to blame for torturing and murdering that man outside, you'll have to take care of the other problem.
Like I said, we were planning on doing that anyways.
I'm glad that we can come to this agreement. I'm good for the gold.
Oh, believe me, I know you are.
Man.
Oh, and you can keep anything you find inside the manor as well. I'm not interested in any of the loot they've taken from innocent people.
If I may infer or imply one stipulation, madam. I'd like your people to at least ensure that the citizens are safe.
She nods, of course. The townsfolk provide valuable accommodations, food, supplies. I'm not in the business of disturbing good, honest folk from continuing to do good, honest business.
Then I shall gladly behead this snake of yours.
Oh, she claps her hands. Good. I'm glad to hear it.
I'll lean into Talus. How are you gonna behead somebody with a hammer?
You strike hard enough.
You know, I believe him.
Is he gonna name his hammer Splat?
Much like how you turn goblins into pancake batter.
By the way, I think there's still a little bit of hair on your morning star.
Oh, she warns you. They have a trio of bugbears.
Lovely.
Well,
we didn't have fun with the first one.
She's like, I don't know where they got them, but they don't seem to be members of the Red Brands themselves. Some of my men saw them enter into the manor, and they haven't come out since.
Mayhap they work with in league with those who are working with the spider.
See, I've heard this name a few times. I still am not entirely too sure who it is. There's a few candidates. There's an orcish tribe that's taken up settlement somewhere to the east. And then there's the goblins of Cragmaw.
If I may venture a counter proposal, most likely he is of my kin.
I mean, the moniker fits, but she doesn't like just using the. It could just be a clever disguise. People out here aren't that bright.
I just know that some of the creatures that follow his orders seem to have been taken aback at sight of me. Mumbling something of you look like him.
Then it's possible.
Being one so informed as yourself, I did have a question. The Red Brands seem more armed than you would think a ragtag bunch of idiots would be. Do you know who's supplying them?
No, I don't, but I would love to know. When you do get into the manor and you murder Glassstaff, or leave any of his writings or correspondence to me. I'd like to look over his notes, his inventory reports, and see where he's been securing these goods. And these could be a lucrative trade opportunity there that I'll have to work out with either Barthen or the Lion Shield coasters. They're getting it here somehow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask her. So after we deal with them, how do we know you're not just gonna fill the town with Zentarum agents and do the same thing that they've been doing to the people?
Because people oppressed aren't profitable.
She's got a point.
I'm not a thief. I'm not a crook. I'm not some bandit. I know exactly how much to squeeze. I know exactly where to squeeze. And where and how I squeeze is in the hills surrounding this town. And the best way to do that is to keep the people in Fendalen happy. If they're happy, more miners come. More miners come, more gold is found.
How very noble of you.
It helps that nobody's checking the mint around here.
That does remind me that we did find 3 of your miners had apparently been taken down by the Red Brands bolts. Left for the carrion.
Yeah, she sneers. It's like many of them are just beggars and homeless people they have brought in from the cities. They're just given enough food to get by, and then a pickaxe and or a shovel and sent into the hills. Just enough to be able to. They're not slaves. They can leave whenever they want, but it's not exactly free men either. They probably decided they had a better chance out in the wilderness and got caught. The Red Brands are like that, like animals. They kill for sport. There's no profit in that.
I mean, I personally have heard enough then.
Same.
She says, alright, then we've come to an agreement. 100 gold. The head of Glassstaff.
We should probably head out so that we get the surprise before they get back.
Yeah, probably be for the best. She extends her hand to shake it with each of you. to seal the deal.
I grasp it and reach my big meaty hand and just shake it.
Your hand easily like folds over hers twice, but there is a strength in that small hand. You can feel the fine calluses along the fingertips and palm that speak of handling a knife. All right, so that is a 905.
Yep.
And I think we'll carry it into the next week with the raid on the Tresendar Manor.
Dun, dun.
All right, do you want to close us out?
Well, thank you for watching and listening to us and whatever the hell happened to me at the beginning of this. Not really sure. And it's been another edition of WC Gaming Presents. Thank you again, Tim and Pat and Dylan and my co-host John, and we'll see you next time.
Catch y'all later.